Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 14th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Trying not to complain. First and foremost, that's how you say it. Happy Valentine's Day. To all of my listeners. Oh, well, right on your forehead. Let's see here. Like I said, my day's been good. I think I spent a little too much of it being a little too in my emotional bag, if you will, maybe a little too mushy. I don't know, but also I don't know. I kind of felt like either it was like a little sleepy or just a little off. I will say I do feel like physically overall better. Like I'm not having that chest thing as much right now, but I don't know. Until I had gotten home and did my workout, I was not feeling it. But that and my little pregame, I feel much better. I feel good. I feel like I'm in a better spirit. So yay that. And overall, I can't complain. Let's talk food a little bit here. On today, I actually no. Let me just do it in the order I like to do it. Yesterday we had pasta. The old bolognese. It was good. It was yummy. And then today, once again, like I said, I was like, I'm ready to eat my feelings a little bit here. So I got me a Hershey's what is it? The cookies and cream bar, and I got some Sour Patch Kid watermelon. And then I also tried the Celsius energy drink for the first time. I'm an energy drink guy, so maybe that's also why my mood was a little bit off. I had like 2 energy drinks instead of just one, so I was like, ah. But what was it? The kiwi guava one? It was pretty good. I feel like it had all the notes that you expect an energy drink to taste like. It's like, oh, this tastes like an interesting armpit. And I know I say that statement, but I mean it in a good way. But yeah, no, it was fine. I would drink it again, but I am actually a Nas mainer nowadays. That's my favorite. I'll still drink a Monster. That's usually the easiest, like most prolific energy drink. So, and then I used to love Rock Stars, but I don't really drink those anymore. But yeah. Let's see here. That's pretty much it. I feel like I talked about all the food. I talked about, where I'm at mentally, where my head's at. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, you guys have been doing good. Hopefully you've had a lovely day and, spending it with, the people that you love and care about. Or you're just hanging out like me by yourself and you're loving yourself, and that's good. You know what I mean? I think that's very important. Don't forget that. All right, let me go ahead and take my startup, and then we'll get into some news. Yummy. All right. From The Guardian. Ukraine claims to have sunk Russian landing ship in drone attack. Ukraine claims to have severely damaged and sunk a Russian landing ship in its latest drone attack on Moscow's Black Sea Fleet. Excuse me. Ukrainian military intelligence released video on Wednesday that it said showed several naval drones approaching the Robuska class large landing ship Caesar Kuni. Oh man, I'm getting slayed already. Caesar Kunikov off the coast of Crimea. The drones hit the port side of the ship, the agency said in a statement, adding that it suffered critical holes on the port side of the hull and began to sink. Caesar Kunikov is a Project 775 large landing ship that can carry 87 crew members and was active in the conflicts in Syria, Georgia, and Ukraine, the agency said. Now, I do have like the picture of that like video from the drone strike or whatever. That's in the thumbnail. I'm sure there's better photos maybe, but I couldn't find it, and I didn't feel like looking up the specific ship. So mea culpa on that. But still, this is an interesting development. I feel like this is like the second time as of recently that Ukraine has made a move like this. And while I don't think it actually deters Russia in like a very massive way, it is a symbolic win because like Russia is just so strong and so dominating right now in this area navally, nautically, but I don't know what the right word is, whatever. And so any kind of these wins are great, but just in general, because we're kind of living in a post counteroffensive world where like Ukraine can just really kind of use any kind of morale win, I feel like. So I feel like that this is good. It's good for Goose, good for Cantor. Let's see here. Was there anything else I really wanted to pull from this? Nah, I'm good. I learned that Corvette is a military term, or a naval military term, I guess. I didn't know that until today. So today I learned. Ping. Anyway, let's stick on the Russian front. From ABC News, David Barnes, American detained in Russia, found guilty by Moscow judge. They got another one. They got another one of ours, brother. A Russian judge convicted a Texas man on Tuesday of abusing his two sons between 2014 and 2018 in the United States, even though the law enforcement officials in suburban Houston who previously investigated the allegations never found cause to file charges. David Barnes, 66, was sentenced to 21 years in a high-security Russian penal colony. His attorney, Gleb Glinka, said he's planning to appeal. I gotta say, though, that appeal is probably going to get shot down. It's probably not going to go anywhere. Excuse me. Whew. Bad burp. Let's see. Let's read a little bit more. Barnes, a native of Huntsville, Alabama, has been detained in Moscow since January of 2022. His bench trial began in the fall of 2022, but occurred in non-consecutive days and did not conclude until Monday. Barnes testified in his own defense near the end of the trial. Also, it was not televised, so I think that's also another reason why I feel like this news is just kind of cropping up, and it lines up. Like, I was listening to audio of him in court getting the ruling. He's like, I can't believe they didn't throw it out. And I'm sure, maybe there's some like deep diving TikTokers or YouTubers who, are maybe doing some investigation. Like, well, there's got to be something here. Like maybe, what is it? I should pull up the person's name. Svetlana Kopyeva. Barnes' children had allegedly been taken out of the U.S. in 2019 illegally by his Russian ex-wife Svetlana Kopyeva during a custody dispute, causing Interpol to issue a global yellow warning notices to announce that the boys were missing. Now, Svetlana had claimed this abuse charge previously. They had went to court, and Barnes. Sorry, name's spacing me out. It's working. Barnes won his case. Like they had no grounds to show there was abuse or anything like that. So, he's working on getting custody and all this stuff. And then next thing you know, Svetlana, she just flees. She flees with the children. And I will definitely give Barnes so much credit. All the dad points. It is very noble, heroic to be like, these are my kids. This is my family. At the end of the day, whatever with my ex-wife, these are my children. And I'm going to make sure that I see my children and that they come home with me. And he also, I think, tried to do the best he could to have his legal P's and Q's lined up, saying, hey, I do have legal custody, right? Okay. So he gets that, from Alabama. He gets a lawyer in Russia. But once Svetlana realizes, oh, he's here, she goes and says, hey, I was fleeing. I fled home. I fled back to Russia because of what my husband did. And these charges get brought back up, or these accusations get brought back up, whatever. And Russia goes, okay, yeah, we'll hear it out. And essentially they run him through this whole trial, and they're saying, yeah, we don't have any evidence. We didn't talk to anyone back in Alabama. Fuck that. We just think you're guilty. She says that she fears for her children's safety. That's what it is. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy. So I mean, hey, if you by all means find anything, that disputes this line, whatever, by all means, bring it up. I would love to look at that and inspect that. I feel like in other situations, like with the Paul Whelan thing, because he's mentioned in this article, of course. I definitely can come off as maybe a little bit critical, and maybe that's a my bad, that's a mea culpa. But and also with the Evan Gershowitz, and even here, my knee-jerk reaction is like, once again, how noble, how heroic. But that's crazy as hell to go to a foreign country, especially one that is not an allied country, and be like, yeah, this is all gonna work out. Like, that is Disney level logic to me, and I could never. And I know maybe that's like me, that's a bad God. Well, you don't have any kids, Isaiah, you couldn't understand. You're goddamn right, because I'm not doing that. I'm probably chalking it up. Like, that's crazy. I mean, and it's crazy if this is the way that it is for a person like Svetlana to go, yeah, this is my play. Like, you're here, this is my home turf, and they don't fuck with you, dog. It's too bad. You shouldn't have fell for the trap, dog. I think that she sent an email or something like that to ABC News. She told ABC News via email that the children were abused by Barnes, alleging they experienced suffering and pain, and that she left the U.S. with them for their protection. Barnes has denied the allegations. Like I said, overall, it seems that this has been investigated and that, the law is on Barnes' side here. I mean, obviously, I know that sometimes you can't trust the fucking law, but I don't know. It just seems like from testimony I've heard, I don't know. This does seem on a level, so I'm going to take it as that until I hear otherwise. But, I mean, either way, this is very unfortunate. One for Barnes, which is crazy. He's 66 years old. I feel like, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. This dude looks incredibly well for 66. Like, it's crazy. And he's got swoopy little hair. Like, I'm like, how, bro? How are you moving like this? Like, you're moving like a novel character, like out of a book. Like, crazy. But yeah, I mean, he's sentenced to like 21 years, 66 years old. I mean, that's more or less akin to like a life sentence. And we're talking a penal colony. Like, this is hard work in prison shit. It's not good. It is not good. Like, all prisons are pretty rough, but we've talked about Russian prisons before. They are not cakewalks. So yeah, that was just a situation that popped off, and just it's sad that we're adding that to the pile. We have Paul William, we got Evan Gershowitz, now Barnes. There's others that we've talked about. Obviously, Brittany Griner. She's back home, but I mean, shit, man. All of this, like, it's like a political fucking game too. That's another messy fucking part of this shit, But there's one more thing I wanted to talk about that's Russia related. I don't want to get into the heart of it really. I just wanted to just kind of glance at from ABC News again. GOP warning of national security threat is about Russia wanting nuclear weapon in space, sources. So once again, let me just go into quick riff mode. Essentially, the White House is alerting, everybody, like saying, hey, there's a potential security threat. And that security threat is that Russia wants to potentially nuke a satellite or satellites for reasons, I guess. Obviously, that's fucked up. That's scary as hell. But I think it's posturing. And I think it's posturing on both sides. I think it's Russia letting this information leak or not caring if it fucking does, saying, hey, yeah, let's just spitball. We've had this conversation before when we were talking with the Ukraine-Russia conflict, where they were talking about nuclear or tactical nukes, saying, hey, we could just use these. Like, why not? And that escalated, that ratcheted up the tension. And these are just kind of one of the things that just kind of comes with this kind of war and the warfare. It's like you let this information leak and then it goes to the other side. And, of course, America takes this information and they go, okay, well, what are we going to do with it? So they knock it up and they mention it. And then they make it seem like, hey, we're on it. We're doing our job, okay? We caught this shit. We're airing it out. Do I think Russia is going to actively do that? Probably not. So, like, this isn't moving my internal doomsday clock, but I mean, what the fuck do I know? So I figured, hey, this just fell on the pipe before I went live, so I was like, let me just go ahead and mention that. All right, let's go to Kansas fucking City, which I gotta say, I don't know if I want to party in Kansas City. I know, Kansas City, Missouri, that's around my stomping ground area technically. I don't know, at least where I'm born. But But I don't know. Apparently, lately it's a bad time to be partying, and it's all football related. Technically, it's very, but whatever. Hey, sports ball, it brings the best and the worst out of us. From the Associated Press, one dead and up to 15 injured after shooting near Kansas City Chiefs parade. Police chief says. One person was killed and up to 15 were injured in a shooting at the end of the parade to celebrate the Super Bowl win by the Kansas City Chiefs, sending terrified fans running for cover and marring yet another high-profile public event with gun violence. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves detailed the shooting's toll at a news conference and said 2 people have been taken into custody. She says she has heard that fans may have been involved in apprehending a suspect, but couldn't confirm that. Social media users posted shocking video. One user's video showed someone apparently performing chest compressions on a shooting victim as another person, seemingly writhing in pain, lay on the ground nearby. People screamed in the background. Another video showed 2 onlookers chase down and tackle someone, holding that person down until 2 police officers arrived. Also, I just want to mention this person because they have a cool-ass fucking name. Lisa Money of Kansas City, Kansas. Which I always get spun up on this shit, right? Because there's Kansas City, Missouri, and there's Kansas City, Kansas. And generally, sometimes you just kind of lump them up because, it's a neighboring kind of thing. It's like, Kansas, Kansas City. Yeah, it's all like the same. Yeah, we love Tech 9. Anyway, Lisa Money of Kansas City, Kansas was trying to gather some confetti near the end of the parade when she heard somebody yell, "Down, down, everybody down." And then, next thing you know, there's SWAT. But yeah, I mean, very unfortunate. I'm glad that at least that the casualties were a minimum, but obviously it's fucked up that that's kind of just the normal thing that I have to sing on the shit. You know what I mean? That's the silver lining here is that yay, I'm glad people were just injured for the most part and only one person lost their life instead of oh, there's a whole pile of dead bodies. But that's just the state of affairs in America, There's a Super Bowl, and then maybe sometimes people die. But yeah. Also, New York Times says Travis Kelce brought back the fade. More at 11. I don't know. That's for another podcast. I have one more thing to cover. Yes, it's political, but it's related to George Santos, so it's a little zesty, a little spicy. Let me take my break, and then we'll dig into it. Oh, and oh God, we didn't even talk about Taylor Swift conspiracy theories or Joe Biden conspiracy theories. So many psyops that I'm just failing to cover right now. That's my bad. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So sorry. Mea culpa. Our last one comes from the Associated Press. Democrat Tom Suozzi wins New York race to succeed George Santos in Congress. Democrat Tom Suozzi won a special election for the U.S. House seat in New York on Tuesday, coming out on top in a politically mixed suburban district in a victory that could lift his party's hopes heading into a fiercely contested presidential election later this year. Suozzi defeated Republican Mazi Pilip to take the seat that was left vacant when George Santos, also a Republican, was expelled from Congress. The victory marks the return to Washington for Suozzi, who represented the district for 3 terms before giving it up to run unsuccessfully for governor. What a fucking loser. And I gotta say this at the top. And I don't know if maybe this project is becoming me just becoming more disillusioned and in a political doldrum about where I feel like I land, what's my ideology, because it's so hard It's so hard to even like to just round myself down to try to say, oh, I'm like a liberal, because it's like, yes, in so many ways, but because I'm like a lazy American and I don't plan on actually getting active about the shit I'm doing, and I just yakety yak on a goddamn podcast, like, yeah, I'm a liberal, like, but it sucks to see people who like espouse themselves in any kind of thing like that. And I mean, you can say, hey, well, no, Susi isn't, he's a centrist, and it's like, ugh, fucking okay, whatever. That just means you're the worst kind of liberal. It just means you're like the ultimate moderate. You're the most milquetoast person. And like, when I was younger, I used to like those kind of people. And like, I used to be like, well, yeah, these are the kind of sensible minded people in the room. But it's like, no, dude, these are just the biggest chameleons in the room. Like that's it. These are the people who are going to be the first to lie to you. Now that being said, I'm kind of already roasting Tom Susie here. I was definitely not a fan of Mazzy Phillip. She, I think, put herself in an interesting niche, because of his like a very suburban community, also very Jewish community, something that I feel like Santos tried to play upon, but just fabricating a whole story about his like family being Jewish. But no, she was an immigrant, I believe, from like Ethiopia, and then, came to Israel. I think became a part of the IDF. So she's about that life, and she is pushing the Zionist fucking rhetoric. And I think the thing that bummed me out the most, and this is me zigging back to Susie here, is that, you know what? Susie didn't lose a step. He's like, no, 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 no. I love the Jewish people. I just went to Israel, okay? This shit happened. I'm in Israel. I'm with y'all. I'm standing with y'all. I'm standing on my business with y'all, okay? I love this. I hate Hamas. Hamas is not only bad, we need to kill him in New York. Like he's just saying this kind of shit. And then also, you just see the slide, because once again, this centrist guy is, of course, he's got his finger on the goddamn pulse, so he knows he's got to be one of those people who's like, I'm not like Biden, okay? I'm not like one of those Democrats, all right? And it's like, yeah, okay, we get it, dude. Like, you recognize that immigration is a problem and you're trying to reach across the aisle. That shit sounds so cool, except what reaching across the aisle looks like these days is just saying, oh yeah, let's reduce asylum. Let's just do that. Like, yeah, we don't need that anymore. Let's make it harder for people to get here. Let's build the wall. Like, I cannot believe this. We are now in a situation where both sides are saying this shit. And you can use your liberal hive mind super bullshit to be like, oh no, this is just 4D chess, buddy. That's just how this is supposed to be. We're just making fence. See, they didn't even go for it. Conservatives were just eating their own ass and we knew it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. At the end of the day, this is a party selling its soul yet again, just slicing a little bit more off just to fucking stay where they're at, just to try to keep a status fucking quo. And it makes me sick. How do you align? It's so hard to align yourself with this kind of shit. I get it. I understand. But I also understand that the system is just playing team sports. So I'm left chasing my tail on this, while I pick what senile old man I'm supposed to vote for. And I also get that it's like, no, maybe you just don't. Something to mention, the potential turnout was like probably lower because of the storms. I haven't really talked about the nor'easter situation. It's been cold. But yeah, I mean, if I'm being completely all the way real, Mazzy Phillip had the same situation, the same problem. I'm going to quote quotations because this is an American problem. This is a society problem. The problem that she had wasn't her rhetoric. I think that shit played to those people. I think they really, really wanted to pick her. But I think the problem was, I think it was the skin tone. And I'm just saying that. I'm saying that because I feel it. I feel like Vivek Ramaswamy had the same issue in Iowa, and that was the final wall that he realized, like, I can never beat this problem, and this, at least not right now. You know what I mean? And because she was saying it, dude. She was saying all of this shit. She's like, we're gonna fight. We're gonna get rid of all the terrorists. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? She was just saying all the kinds of crazy shit. I wish I had handy dandy quotes, but I'm just not that thorough, and I don't want to commit this shit to memory. But yeah, needless to say, this was me doing a little bit of a gazing in the abyss. I was curious who was going to take George Santos' spot. And I mean, sadly, I get my wish, and I'm glad that it's a Democrat that is, one of those dyed in the wool ones that is yet again going to push the same kind of narrative, the same kind of fucking Zionist bullshit. Like, yeah, who gives a fuck about a genocide? Palestinian who? What? And that's crazy. Like, there's a whole ass fucking people, and this dude just sidestepped them. Who cares? Because I need to get this vote, and I know my demographic. Like, it makes me feel gross. Anyway, I know I'm ending on a weird note, blah, very somber, blah blah. But that's it. That's all I have. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do have to shill a little bit. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you'd like to support the effort, become a newsie today. I plug your name and a project if you like. And then free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me on the socials. And then hopefully you're subscribed to me on the YouTube or whatever platform you're listening to. Feel free to leave a comment, hit that thumbs up, and thanks for sharing. Thanks for talking about it. And thanks for just listening. Thanks for just hanging out with me. And it's nice. It's nice to not be alone, technically, on Valentine's Day. When I think about it, if I'm being real poetic, if I'm being real P.S. I love you right now. It's been nice. It's been swell. So yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.